All right, phenomenal morning, guys. Had to give everybody time to wake up. Had to give everybody time to wake up. Played this a couple times, guys. It's the bottom of the third quarter. We've said it before. It's the bottom of the third quarter. You got the rest of the month until the beginning of the fourth quarter. This is the bottom of the ninth if there ever was one. Phenomenal morning, gentlemen. How's everybody doing this morning?
Phenomenal morning. Feeling amazing. Looking forward to seeing what today brings.
Okay. Bobby Jackson, how about you, sir?
Phenomenal as well. Something came to me recently that good players win games, but great teams win championships. So I love being a part of this team, and I love having been a great player or a good player, but knowing that there's something bigger. So as I come on to Breakfast with the Brand and I engage with other people, I just think about, great teams and how much further they go than just great players. So it's just a lot there. Got to be coachable, got to be a team player. It's just a lot. So I'm excited.
Huge. Guys, if you're watching this right now, share this out. Be a leader for your community. Be a leader for the people that follow you. Share this out to your community, right? We all are leaders. And that's what I want to dig into today, kind of leadership, right? But we all are leaders. And everybody's not everybody's cup of tea. Bobby Jackson serves a phenomenal group of people, and I may not be their cup of tea. But Bobby Jackson gives the same kind of leadership through wealth management, right? So I want you to think, and Junior Frederick as well. Junior Frederick, being an international connoisseur that he is, he serves a very select group of people. And Sean East might be a little bit too loud. They might not, approve of the red tie or whatever the case may be. They might like his red tie more than my red tie. Listen, guys, I promise you, I guarantee you, you want to share this out because you are the leader for your community and the people that follow you. So when you share pertinent information and evidence-based strategies, which you'll be learning today, you become the stealer of the fire. Prometheus. So real quick, I'm going to go into a leadership lesson with Prometheus. So Prometheus was one of the people who came from a village, and the gods had the fire for themselves, right? The gods had the fire on the hills, and the people in the village was cold. They couldn't cook their food. They needed access to the fire. So your community right now needs access to the fire. And Prometheus was willing to travel to where the gods stayed, and he actually stole the fire and he brought it to the people. Therefore, becoming a god himself because he was the stealer of the flame. He was the bringer of the fire. He was the protector of the heat. So you want to be the protector of the heat and the Prometheus, the leader for your people. So go ahead and steal this fire. Go ahead. It's fine. We give you permission. Share this out. Let everybody know. And let's transfer some energy. Let's transfer some energy this morning.
100%, Sean. While you're speaking, it actually reminds me of there used to be a cartoon back in the day. Remember SpongeBob? I don't know if they still play it, but there was an episode
back in the day, man. SpongeBob is right now.
I don't know. I have no idea, but I remember there was an episode where they were sitting in this circle and they were passing around this shell, and they call it like a conch. They were passing around the conch. So they sat around this like campfire, and then when you got the conch, it was like your time to speak. So the person, whoever controlled the conch, they basically control the whole session. So it's so interesting. Why you said like Prometheus stealing the fire, I was thinking about how this show sort of is, and how everybody gets a turn with the conch. So now I have the conch. I'm about to pass it to Bobby. Bobby's about to pass it back to you. And every time we get the conch, we share something absolutely amazing. So for the people looking or listening, rather, I would say if you have any questions, please go ahead and put them in the comments. This is 100% live, as you know, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Sean and Bobby's going to bring today. I have my pen fully loaded. I'm ready to go.
Good.
Yeah, same boat. I'm realizing that when it comes to winning, you gotta deal with losing too. But it's like you gotta learn from the losses. It's never like you lose, you just learn. And the reason I brought that up is because I feel like when we get into business, we don't always, how can I say? When I think about Michael Jordan, basketball was more than a game, but a lot of people looked at it like a game. And the people that were entertained by the game had no idea how intense the channeling of energy was that went into their entertainment. So I feel that same way as I'm evolving as a businessman. You know, people watch things like Breakfast with the Brand and they're like so entertained and they feel, but they're also empowered. They're also educated. They're also getting all of these things, but sometimes it's impossible to fathom what really goes into producing what they're seeing. So that's why I love to be so close. And then that's why I was thinking about Prometheus, like for him to go to the throne room of the gods, like he was close. He felt some things. He was in some energy. Then he had to get back to the people. So I feel like that's something that could go over their heads. So when we say, you know, share this out, get this to the people, I want you to also know that just being here is pressure that you might be used to. Like the first time you hear Sean Rais speak, the first time you hear Junior speak, it's like it can shock you, it can hurt you, it can hit you. You can be like, ugh, that hurt. But if you stay through the whole thing, you walk away like, wow, I did that. Then you come back for a few times, you're just like Prometheus. You're getting more and more acclimated. So when you take the fire back to them, it's like you show them how to handle. Like it's so much here. Like it's like three of us, right? And we're all throwing flames. But when you take the flame back to them, it's like a torch. It's smaller, so they can handle it. So it's like you do so much when you share this out. And that's all I wanted to say. Is like it can be perceived, you know, as a game, but I want you to know that by sharing this out, it's so much deeper than that because you're serving them by taking the hit for them, and that's leadership. I just wanted to share that.
Very good, right? So you brought up Michael Jordan, and what I want everybody to understand is the relationship to the championship and the team, right? The relationship to the championship and the team, because Michael Jordan was, well, first he got kicked out of North Carolina. Like he got kicked off the team. He had to sit on the bench in North Carolina because he wasn't ready. He had to take some maturity steps. And he came back and he was crushing it, right? So he came back, he went through the maturity steps and he came back in. Guys, it's not going to be the easiest thing in business. I guarantee it. You might have to take some maturity steps. You might have to play the bench for a little while, ride the bench. He rolled the bench for a minute, took some maturity steps, and came back and he was crushing it, right? So watch this. He was crushing it, but there's levels to crushing it. And no man is an island. So he was crushing it, yes, but he didn't have the rings. He didn't have the rings until the right coach came. Yeah. When Phil Jackson came, he said, listen, you're great, but you're not a champion yet. You're great. You're better than good, better than average, but you're not a champion yet. You still got some rough edges. You're not able to sync with the team yet. You're kind of demanding, kind of aggressive. You need to assemble a team and you need to assimilate into a team. You need to become more of a team player. And when the right coach came and he became coachable and humbled himself and was able to take that instruction, 6 championship rings. So let me tell you this too. This will probably amaze you. His first signing on the dotted line was for $6.8 million, 8.6, 6.8, one of the two. But watch this. He gets the exact same number from Nike every 6 days now. Every 6 days, he makes the exact same number, $6.8, $8.6 million that he signed up for in the very beginning. So please understand me. You're going to overestimate what you can do in a day. He thought he was a champion from the very first day and he had to sit down on the bench. You're going to overestimate what you can do in a day, but I guarantee you that you're going to underestimate what you can do in 10 years. Let's grow. It's very important that you know yourself to the highest degree possible, because it's through knowing ourselves that we're able to know other people. You are the most important person in the room, and the better that you know yourself, the better that you're able to communicate to others. So you're not only playing the game knowing who you are, but you're also playing the game knowing who everyone else is, so that you're not playing blind.
He's extremely engaging with people. He has a fantastic smile, and he's just very high energy person.
This is called leadership development. So we have to be independently knowledgeable and considerate to know who we are, so we can more effectively know who other people are. As the leader, it's your responsibility to allocate resources in the right places. If you don't know how to communicate effectively, you're losing the battle. I said Sean Ra'is. I'm proud. I said Sean Ra'is. Leadership is not the brand they made for us.
Listen, he brought fire, heat. He didn't hold back.
20 years down the line, what I could sell, why not serve first? Service over salary. Branding like a leader closes the gap for people who want branding. Speaking like a leader closes the gap for people who are nervous about speaking. If Steve Jobs would have speculated, we wouldn't have Apple.
He changed lives. He helped people open up their business and start their business.
We are the brand. Some people say, Sean, should I quit my job? Mentally, yes.
As a speaker too, to be able to learn from him and watch him and game respects game. And I want to have that much game someday.
The right client, pay $500,000 for what you do. You have to be bold in your beliefs.
He has been an amazing asset to this event and a pleasure to work with. Very captivating, collaborative, worked very well with the audience.
I want to help you. Put a 0 behind your number, right?
The session was great. How he is online, virtually, he is even more phenomenal in person.
Be the face of change that you want to see. Stop asking questions and start giving demands.
The entire team has just been absolutely incredible. They are a joy to work with. They go above and beyond.
Give yourself a round of applause. Yes, yes, yes. Give yourselves a round of applause this morning, guys, because you're tuned in. You're tuned in, locked and loaded, early in the morning on a Saturday. Listen, give yourselves a round of applause. Identify yourself. Let us know where you're calling in from, where you're showing up from, right? You know me. I'm just a kid from Harlem. Harlem, New York, the old Harlem. So where's everybody showing up from? Bobby, where you at? Nope, you're on mute.
I'm hearing the replays of everything. Are y'all hearing that too?
Yep, we're hearing some background.
Okay, so I couldn't hear the question fully, but I heard that. Okay. So could you restate that one more time, Coach? If you don't mind?
Sir, no problem. I'm just telling everybody, state where you are. I said identify yourself, state your name and where you're signing in from. Let us know who you are. Phenomenal morning.
Mm-hmm. So me, I'm here in North Carolina, from Jacksonville, Florida, enjoying it nice and early.
In New York, we call that cackalack.
Yeah, I'm in North Cackalack.
Cackalack, right?
Right.
Let everybody know, if they're coming in from the first time, let them know where you're at, man, because you're not stateside, man. It's special for you.
Yeah, I'm a little different. So I'm from the eastern part of the Caribbean, next to Rihanna's home. My home is the home of the world's only drive-in volcano. One of the world's rarest snakes. We have some of the most phenomenal chocolate that you can ever taste. Lovely tourist attractions, the #1 honeymoon destination in the world, and I'm talking about the one and only beautiful island of St. Lucia, Sean.
Whew. You see how he says that? Makes me want to go check it out. Mm-hmm. You see how he says that? That's branding. That's positioning, guys. He said, you see, he set it up. He said, I'm a little different. he said, I'm a little different first. Then he's talking about drive-in volcanoes and whatnot. Tell us about the drive-in volcano real quick, man, before we get into this.
Oh, yeah, Sean. So, we have this thing on the eastern side of the island. In fact, the western side, we have this drive-in volcano in a part of the island called Soufouye. So Soufouye, now for anybody who doesn't know about St. Lucia, there were like 14 different wars fought over my country. And it was 7 times British, 7 times French. So the French won 7 times, the British won 7 times. But as a result, most of the constituencies here are named French. So you have Miku and Vieux-Fort, which means old fort. Then you have Soufouye, which means something else. So when I say these names, they may not come across as English, right? So Soufouye is on the western part of the island, absolutely lovely. It's home to the iconic PTOS. If you've ever looked at any solution logo and you've seen the twin peaks, so Sean, we have twin mountains. We have twin mountains. They came up out of the sea around the same time. They formed this nice, beautiful bay that tourists absolutely love to go to. And you know, Sean, I've actually climbed one of them. In fact, I gave a story the other day about branding and positioning. Maybe I'll tell it again, you know, just for the new people that are coming in. So once I went to climb one of the pitos. So we have PT pito, which means the small pito, and then we have the go pito, which means the go pito, or the big one, right? So I went to climb go pito one of these days, right? So as I'm walking into the village, the way that you actually get there, Sean, is super interesting. Before you get there, you have to cross like this little bridge. There's a river flowing underneath. The bridge is very, very rocky. But when you get there, you end up in like this little community that seems like it's been a little bit abandoned. It's pretty strange, but very nice. As soon as you walk in there, the energy is completely different. It's like you feel completely renewed as soon as you walk in there. It's like one of those little habitats that have not really been touched by too much technology. Yes, they are very technologically savvy there, like the people there, yes, they have phones and everything, but the environment itself is absolutely amazing. You're literally sitting on the edge of a huge mountain. So as you're looking up, you can literally you're literally looking at a mountain over 2,000 feet. So I'm walking in there and I'm trying to find, okay, like how do I actually get to a restaurant that I had booked for my birthday? They said the restaurant was somewhere in the community. So I'm walking through the community, I'm talking to the locals, I'm saying, hey, where's this restaurant? Everybody's telling me, just continue going left. So I'm walking left. And when I keep walking left, there's nothing there. So I talk to more people. I say, hey, where's the restaurant? They say, continue going left. I continue going left, and there's nothing there. So I talk to somebody else. I say, hey, where is the restaurant? They said the restaurant is around there. So I continue going left. So finally, I decide to go all the way left, Sean. And I come to this, what looks like a pile of rubble. So I said, this can't be right. This can't be right. So I went back and I said, hey, where's the restaurant? And somebody pointed me up the pile of rubble. So I said, oh boy, this is going to be interesting. So I started to hike, literally hiking to get to a restaurant. I'm hiking now up a pile of rubble. At the top of the pile, it's like a forest with a
Wow.
little trail.
Pay
So I'm like,
attention, guys. Pay
interesting.
attention. Go ahead.
Interesting. So I'm walking through the trail and I'm like hopping over big rocks and literally like rock climbing. And I'm like, boy,
Okay.
this food better be good. This food better be good because I've already gone through all of this stuff. So I continue rock climbing, Sean. I do this for like 5 to 10 minutes. And then, lo and behold, as I continue going left, I come to this huge sign. It's not too, it's like very, very, it looks like an old sign, very old wooden sign. The sign is written with chalk, very nice and bright chalk. And here's what it says. It says, tough roads often lead to beautiful destinations. And I just started laughing, man. I said, that is amazing. So I walk inside, and lo and behold, the place is absolutely beautiful. If you love natural spaces, if you love nature, if you love what you guys call the organic experience, then you absolutely love it. I walk in, the people were amazing, the food was amazing, and I said the positioning was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. So let me give a quick business lesson there. So in developing your offers, in developing your marketing, the more hurdles you could make your prospects go through to get to you, the more valuable the perceived value of your product becomes. Also, the more sticky the offer becomes. Because when somebody has gone through several steps, it is more difficult to go back than to continue to the end. Therefore, you increase your retention through the offer phase, and thus you increase your conversion. So I've been there several times after that. So she retained me, she converted me, and I had a phenomenal experience that I'm now talking about. So guys, that's what it is, Sean. So Sue Friend, that's only one. That's only one. We have chocolate truffles, we have chocolate this, we have chocolate that. Sean, I could talk about it forever, man. But it's just something that you have to experience for yourself.
Let me just kind of summarize what you said, right? Because I get that a lot. I get that a lot. People come into the leadership leverage and they're like, Sean, you don't know, I've worked with this many coaches and I've had this many courses and I spent so much money. I spent so much money. They say, if I would have just known you 5 years ago, I would have saved so much money. Right. And I always tell them, I say, well, you couldn't have done it because you weren't ready 5 years ago. You had to go through all of the things that you've been through now. Right. You've had to go through all of the cuts, all of the scrapes, all of the disappointments, all of the investments to get to this investment, to get to this point. And this investment is going to be 10 times whatever you spent over the past 5 years. This is not going to be a cheap experience. This is going to be a luxury experience. And you spend like it's a luxury experience. But that's what makes it work. That's what makes it work. And that's what makes it stick. I say, you've gone through all of the rest to find the evidence-based solution, that which actually works. So we do the same thing, kind of. We say, congratulations, dust people off, let them go fix themselves up. Bobby, why don't you talk to that for a moment? Talk about the experience of looking and searching and being led the wrong direction and hurt and scraped up in business, and then coming to the brand and finding out what it really, really consists of and what it really looks like.
Yeah, I think I'm the perfect person to answer this question. Okay, so I had a business venture before joining Branded Like a Leader back in 2019, 2020. So when I had that original business venture, it opened in 2015, 2017 time frame. And I was in music. So I was a rapper that was somewhat signed, but it wasn't like a big label, so I don't want to mislead, but it was an organization. They were at LLC and we were growing in the city of San Diego, opened up for E40. So it was a real movement. And then I got cut. They were like, yeah, you're not performing, or you're just not where we want you to be. And personalities, they just clashed, so I got cut. So when I got cut, I was like, wow, don't want me at your table? I'll make my own. So I went and made an LLC. Once I made this LLC, lost in the sauce. I was on Zoom. What was that thing called? Not Zoom. It was called Legal Zoom or something like that. So they're doing all of my paperwork for me. They're charging me an astronomical amount to do nothing. I had no idea at the time, of course, that I'm like hiring accountants when I have like no money. I don't even have a EIN number yet. And I'm paying like $1,000, $2,000 a month for an accountant to sit there and say, you got to do taxes. Like, okay, that's helpful. And then you're just going through this process. So for me, I feel like I can relate to a lot of people out there at that stage in my life, because a lot of times businesses are built out of necessity. So when we think about Eric Thomas, like he got cut from his job or whatever, fired, and he was like going live. When you think about why you started your business, you might be able to tie it back to something that felt do or die. It's like, if I don't do X, I don't know what else I'm going to do. So when we get in that state, I feel like we just are going. We're just doing something to feel like we're moving the needle. And that's where I was. But the problem with that, and me, I'd have no coach at the moment, no branding experience. I don't know nothing. I just know life has got to be better. Like, I'm knowing that I'm good at music. Getting cut, this can't be the end. And a lot of you all may feel like I've got skills, I got education, I got experience, I've got like where I'm at is not the end. So you just start doing stuff. And when you just start doing stuff, you start seeing, progress. If you are say high performer or you're an executive of some kind, you've got some success behind your belt. I've been in the Marine Corps about 6 years by now. So it's just a lot, so I was overconfident in things that I shouldn't have been confident in. So fast forward, I've got the business. It's not working. I'm not making any money. I'm spending more money than I could ever imagine. Thousands, likely tens of thousands. I'm not even tracking it because I'm not thinking of it as a business. Like I'm looking at it like a hobby that's supposed to make me a millionaire. So then it just becomes an expensive hobby that makes me a brokenaire. Like you have no bread. And then you get to this point where you're like, okay, this is unsustainable. And I feel like most people get to this point after they run out of bread. And now they're hurt, they're hit. They're like, I know now what I didn't know then, but I've taken so many financial bumps and bruises that I can't even invest in what I need to do now because I've already, messed over so much bread. So kind of note-taking moment here, if you're here right now and you've been watching this and you've been here for week after week, month after month, and you look at your business today and you look at it, say 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, and it still looks similar, that's a red flag. Like when I got a coach, I saw 400% growth in 12 months. And I saw it consistently, not just once. It was like the growth compounded on itself. So the power there is like, you just got to ask yourself, how long do you want to suffer? Without going down a rabbit hole, because I am, coming to the end of this point, is that there's a story in a very popular book, and it goes about Moses and these Israelites. And some historians say that the destination from where they actually settled was a 40-day journey, but it took them 40 years to get there. And they say that this was the reality because of the route that they took and the lack of guidance and turmoil and all that. So when the historians actually laid out the map from Egypt to the promised land, the lineage and genealogy says, hey, it took them 40 years, but you mapped that thing out humping. And they're like, if they were taking this many steps a day, parking, eating, resting, it only should have took 40 days. That's all it should have took. And that's just a point that I wanted to put out there because it's real. Like everybody is escaping. If you're leaving the job or you're leaving like that's your Egypt, that's your spot, and you're trying to get to freedom and independence and luxury, that's your promised land. You can get there in 40 days or 40 years, is your choice. So when I got a coach, I was like, I've been journeying for 3 years. I don't want to make it another 38. Take me there. And he was like, all right, let's go. Let's hit it. And I mean, it was hard, but it was worth it. And it wasn't really hard. It was just an adjustment. It was hard because of my thinking was wrong. So the hardest part was just retraining my mind, but I needed someone to show me how to do it. So I want to take this moment now to say thank you, Sean Raiz. Thank you, Junior Frederick, because you guys were definitely pivotal. And that's what that experience was like for me. It was like, one state, business, turmoil, broke, another state, 400% revenue growth year after year, retired my wife, bought a house, paid off cars, got out of debt, making bigger investments than I've ever made in my life, living my life. I don't work for the Marine Corps anymore, retired myself in a way, do what I want to do. I stay home with my girls. Like I'm living a life now. And it all came from a decision to get help before I, couldn't get help, because some people wait too long, thinking too late.
Wow, man. Thank you for the transparency and the vulnerability, right? Listen, guys, you might be in that 40-year diaspora. You might be somewhere in that 40-year diaspora. You absolutely do not have to be. As a matter of fact, we're gonna put something up right now. You absolutely do not have to be. Like, put that in your browser, sign up for that. We'll see you on the challenge. It's the end of this month. If you want to take your 40-year journey and turn it into 4 days, come spend 3 days with us during the Ultimate Brand Challenge. And we're going to try to shorten the gap for you, collapse time, and turn decades into days. That's one thing that we do. We help you turn decades into days, as Bobby just elaborated on, help you make your yearly income monthly, your monthly income weekly, and your weekly income daily. If you have the dream, the dedication, and the discipline, then we have the education, the experience, and the expertise to help you get from where you are to where you want to be and experience the massive impact, income, and independence that you're looking for, without question. Thank you again, Bobby, for that. And if you wasn't paying attention to what Junior said before, what Bobby experienced was the rock climb, the rock climbing. So if it feels like you're rolling up rocks or you're sliding down rocks and it's not as easy as it should be, as people make it seem, then you need to do the same thing that Bobby did, which was make a phenomenal decision. We'll be back in a minute. Let's grow. The reason why I did this and what I do is help leaders to become brands and brand themselves. You train people how to treat you like how you treat yourself. I teach authenticity marketing. If people can take advantage of you, they will in your personal or professional existence.
My biggest takeaway just from day one is you are the brand. I would recommend it to anybody that's really looking to build a personal brand.
Just the brand in general has changed my life. I've grown so much since I've been a part of this.
I see myself in what he does, and I believe in it just as much as I believe in myself.
I don't talk theory, I don't talk hyperbole, I don't talk opinion. Nothing I talk is anything but evidence-based.
During the G-Circle retreat in Atlanta, I had the pleasure and the honor of listening to Mr. Sean Rais. He will not only impact your organization, but he will elevate your team to another level.
When you change you, when you put you into the equation, the whole system is different. I guarantee you, you got the right thing. You are the right person. If you can present yourself in the best way possible, there's no negotiation.
His energy is infectious, and I have so many takeaways from the presentation that I can't wait to get started and implement them today to see the result.
All right. So we got Travis from Jax, Florida. I think that's Jacksonville, Florida. We got Anna from Florida as well, listening in on YouTube. We got Atlanta, GA on LinkedIn, guys. Okay, so we're live multiple places on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter as well. And not IG, but we'll be on IG next week. All right, I guarantee you, I'm going to just throw the phone up and we're going to be on IG as well. IG needs to get synced in with StreamYard, guys. If you are listening on the back end, like, connect IG so we can help those phenomenal people as well. Oh, Detroit is in the building. Yes. Dr. Michelle, Detroit is in the building. This is what we do every Saturday, guys. If you're new to this is what we do every single Saturday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard, and we help you go from business-minded to brand, from barely known or the best kept secret to the only viable option, from a follower to a leader, from unknown to full-blown, and from bland to industry-leading brand. Let's get into it.
Yes, sir. So, Sean, while you were speaking a couple of minutes ago about the whole, Michael Jordan scenario, something actually came to mind, and I wrote down you versus you. So I wrote down you versus you. And what I want to talk on is the concept of the ego and how every champion sort of has an ego. Now, if you've been in business long enough, you know that there's a saying, ego is not your amigo, right? So ego is not your amigo, meaning ego is not really your friend. But I heard this story, interestingly enough, about Kobe and how the whole Black Mamba thing came to being. And I found it super, super interesting. So it said that one day Kobe was chilling at the house and he was looking at a documentary. I think he might have been going through some rough times at that point. And he was looking at a documentary about, interestingly enough, the Black Mamba. Because everybody knows the black mamba is actually a snake. I hope everybody knows that, right? The black mamba is actually
Thank you
a
for the
snake.
clarification.
Actually a snake. So he was looking at this documentary about it, and then what he noticed was certain characteristics that it had, and those characteristics made it, or it was so attractive to him that he decided to take on some of those characteristics, and that's not uncommon. I mean, we see it all the time. People put up like little lion symbols. Like, how many of you have put up little lion symbols and say, "Oh, I'm a lion," right? I'm a this, I'm a that. I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a lion. So people take on the different attributes and characteristics of certain animals or certain things that they deem to be very, very powerful. So he was looking at this documentary about the black mamba, and he noticed certain qualities about the snake that he actually liked, and he thought it was cool. So he decided to create the alter ego, the Black Mamba, right? And that shot him straight to the moon, straight to the moon. So I just want to ask the people that are looking, have you taken the time to create that alter ego, or to create that personality, or that, you know, that person that you can step into when you need strength, when you need hope, when you find yourself in a difficult scenario and you need more motivation, right? When you need that championship mentality. How does a champion instantly switch? Right? We see it with people like Beyonce as well. Beyonce has spoken about shifting into that different personality when she gets on stage. And many, many actors, actresses, and many, many successful people do the same thing. So I just want to, pose the question to the people looking. Have you ever thought about creating that sort of alter ego for yourself? And if you could and you can, what attributes would you give it?
Think
Would you
about
make them, would you make them a successful business owner? Would you give them certain mental models that make it virtually impossible for you to lose? Would you give them a charming personality? Would you make them an effective speaker? Would you make them somebody who has an indestructible mindset? Like, literally, you could create anything you want. And Sean, when we talk about champions, right? And Bobby spoke about champions. For me, a championship team is a group of people who all can instantly step into that alter ego, or step into that new personality or that new persona, for them to be able to perform what it is that they need to do. And I just want to put that out there.
Nice, nice, nice. Think about that. Think about the identity shift, right? The identity shift and adopting that alter ego and becoming that person. And I, just give you a little bit of Les Brown told me never tell a story without having a point, and never make a point without having a story, right? So when I was growing up in Harlem, like, we didn't have leadership. Our leadership was on the corners, and it was dangerous. And they were on TV, and they were dangerous too. Or sports stars, or microphone fiends, right? Rakim and Eric B and LL Cool J, and this was the genre that I grew up in. I'm probably telling on my age, but that's okay. We didn't have leadership. We didn't have the proper guidance. And you might be in a space where you don't have the proper guidance. But what Junior talked about is exactly what I did at a certain impasse in my life, a certain crossroad. I think Bobby alluded to it before we went to the break, and he was talking about his 3-year hiatus in the diaspora in the desert, trying to figure out business before he came to the brand. For me, it was doing something I had never done before. So kind of the same thing. You might be thinking about taking on a coach. You might be thinking about, joining a community. You might be thinking about building a speaking career, building your business, or going for yourself, or leaving your job, or whatever the case may be. For me, it was literally putting down everything that I knew that kept me moderately successful up to that point and taking on a new identity. So I had to create this new identity, and it was completely foreign to me. It was completely foreign to me. And there were these 3 Ds that I had to have to get it done. And I talk a lot about the 4D framework that we have: decision, development, we make the decision. You have to make a decision first, and then you have to have the discipline to give it time to develop, and then you dominate, right? But this is before that 4D framework, there was a 3D framework. I had to have a dream, guys. You got to have a dream. If you don't have a dream for a better you and a better situation, then you're basically not living and someone else is controlling your life. So I had a dream, even though I didn't know what it looked like. It was kind of those things where you wake up from a dream and you don't really remember what you dreamed, but you know it was good. Like, it felt good, and it felt real. Like, it was visceral. But I couldn't touch it or taste it or put my finger on it. Like, I did not remember the details. I just knew the essence of it. So I had a dream. Number 2, I had determination. I was willing to sacrifice everything that I was for everything I wasn't, and for everyone that I loved. So for me, it was my wife and my children. I said, I'm determined to turn this thing around. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know where I'm headed. I don't know what it's going to look like when I come out of it. But I'm willing to go into the valley of the shadow of death and fear no evil, because I had discipline. I had the discipline to get through it. And for those of you who might not know, if you're watching me for the first time, I've got 3 master's degrees, and that's a part of the discipline. 3 master's degrees, written 3 books, 4th one coming out in a month or so. And I'm in 2 doctorates, and all the coursework is done. I'm in the dissertation stage, 3rd chapter, methods of 2 dissertations, a PhD in org development and an EdD in leadership, for God's sakes. The same thing that I couldn't see where I grew up. The same thing that I couldn't fathom. If you've got the dream and you got determination to see it through, and you got the discipline, those are the only 3 things that you need. Go ahead, sir. I'm done. I pass. I just wanted to give validity to what Junior said, because listen, guys, it's going to be validity. You have to have validity or visibility, which leads to credibility, which leads to profitability. You will not make money or be successful in this business or any business at all, or even in your life venture, if you don't have a dream, determination, and discipline. We're talking about leadership. We've been talking about leadership from the very beginning.
I love that point, because I've recently, within the last 12 hours, took a hit as a leader. And I want to talk a little bit about why the right environment is beyond crucial. So when I took this hit, prior to, man, you know what? I'm gonna shape this up for you guys a little bit more, because some of you all might be just like me. So I just want to lay this out, because I think a lot of people are entrepreneurs, at least, or business owners. Like, when you are in the ring, you're throwing punches. I like sports. I like boxing, stuff like that. So imagine yourself punching. Now, as you're punching, you were practicing your punches. So you got the jab, the hook, the uppercut. You got moving your feet, hips. You want to be engaged. So those are the things you're thinking about, but you want to have done it enough to make some of those things muscle memory. Then you've got an opponent that's looking for your blind spots, and they're looking for your chinks in the armor. And as an entrepreneur in business, the marketplace can feel like a ring, and you've got individuals looking for blind spots. And here's where the coach is absolutely essential. The coach trains you on what punches to throw, where your weaknesses are, how to move your feet, how to eat, how to drink, how to sleep, and I am not exaggerating. I've been on calls with my coach and he's like, don't eat that. Go to sleep this. Do that. It's so detail oriented. So the power behind this is that when I take a hit and I'm like in the ring, I don't know how long it is, but like if you're training and you're trained how you fight, you're training in 3-minute intervals so that you know how to get through the 3 minutes. So I've been taking a beating, but I don't really know how long I have before the bell hits and I can breathe, but I know I can't stop, staying on my feet. So when I finally like get hit and it's the one that's about to take me out and the bell hits, I'll need everybody to know how crucial it is for you to get the right game plan to go back into the ring. Because when I got smacked, I'm going to tell you guys exactly what I did. Coach gave me a book. He said, read these books. We had a few calls and we talked about it.
And I've been practicing boots and cats and
what ended up happening.
Say it again. You got caught for a minute. Something came in. Go ahead. Say it again.
So my coach in training in preparation for the fight had given me some books. And in the books I was training, and when I got hit, I didn't know when the bell would ring again, but I knew I had to keep on going. So what ended up happening, and I hope you guys are getting this, because if you feel like you're getting beat up in your business, beat up in your life, beat up in your home, can't figure it out, and you don't know when the bell is going to ring, that's a bad place to be. Because and then the bell rings and you survive and you go to a corner with no coach, like then you really hit. And you like, what am I going to do? I'm already hurt. I don't know what to do next. So what I had, though, fortunately, was a coach. So when I got hit with that smack, this is what I did. I wrote down 3 things to help me get through to the bell because of a book I read called It Takes What It Takes. And in this book, it just talks about relentless mental fortitude and neutral thinking. And it was a note card method that I learned in this book. I got smacked. It was literally, like I kid you not, 12 p.m. midnight. The work wasn't done. The job wasn't over. So I wasn't done. The bell hadn't rang. And in that state, I wrote down 3 things and I just kept telling myself that until 3 a.m. Thing number 1, it takes what it takes. Thing number 2, get to neutral. Get your emotions out of it. Next best step, period. Last, extreme accountability. Whoever did it, don't matter. Whose fault it was, don't matter. Do what is required. And then, boom, breakfast with the brand. I'm even telling you guys how recent it was. It was last night. Took a L, 2 of them. Like, boom, boom. And I'm like, but time was still on the clock. And I want you guys to know that in business, in my experience, I'm about to pass it to Junior, is that it's not about who can throw the hardest punch sometimes. It's about who can take the most punches and keep going. A lot of people think that it's about being the strongest dude. I've learned that business is a spiritual game. Coach taught me that. So it's like, you got to learn how to endure. And it's almost like physical, mental, spiritual. Like, you got to have a community. Like I'm telling you that, like your corner, and I don't want to make this analogy too long, but it's like, it's really passionate because the pain is so like right here, right now. So I want to give it to you while the energy is so heightened. It's like when you get to your corner, it's normally like 3 people over there. It's so important. You got one guy getting your eyes straight and your blood and all this stuff flush. You got another guy that's like feeding you water. Then you got the coach telling you the game plan, the community, and then you are just sitting there like getting massaged in, and it's like roughing your face up. It doesn't feel good, but it's necessary. And then you're getting what's required for you to finish. And if you got the right coach and the right team in the right moment, last thing I'll give you is that victory and defeat are in the same moment. Greatness and mediocrity are in the same moment. Like if you were great, you won. If you lost at that time, then you may be looked at as a loser. So get the team that can give you the best chance of winning. And I'm done. But like it saved my life, so to speak.
Come on, man. Let's go. Junior, you're on mute, brother.
Yeah, Bobby, thank you so much for sharing that, brother. I think when people looking, they really appreciate the the openness, man. They really appreciate the openness. Same here with me. I wrote down 4 things while you were speaking. And these are just 4 characteristics that I noticed from successful entrepreneurs. So write this down. I wrote down outthink, outperform, out-strategize, and outlast. So if you want to be successful in business, you're going to need to learn how to outthink the competition, how to outperform the competition, how to out-strategize the competition, but also, like Bobby was saying, how to outlast the competition. And interestingly enough, sometimes the competition is with yourself.
You versus you.
Exactly. Just like I spoke about you versus you. Sometimes that competition is with yourself. And I've noticed the people that have been successful coming through this program, they've been able to outthink, outperform, out-strategize, but also they've been able to outlast, meaning that they've been able to last, beyond the struggle, beyond the pain, and beyond the what seems like hell. There's a saying, right? If you're going through hell, keep going. I think I heard Eric Thomas say, Sean, you already in pain, you might as well get a reward for it.
Yes, definitely.
You're already in pain, you might as well get a reward for it. And I guarantee you guys, if you could outthink, if you could outperform, if you could out-strategize, and if you could outlast, then you can do anything. Like really and truly, what is it that you cannot do? And this brings me to the importance of a coach, just like Bobby was saying. A coach is going to help you to outthink. A coach is going to help you to outperform, out-strategize, but you have to bring the outlast part. You have to bring the outlast part, right? So Sean knows this, better than anybody else. There's a relationship between a coach and a coachee where the coach brings 50%, right? Sometimes 60%, but the coachee has to bring the rest. The coachee has to bring the rest. This means that, hey, I'm going to help you to out-strategize. I'll help you out think. I'll help you out perform, right? So Sean gave Bobby tips on performance, meaning, okay, don't eat this, do this, don't go to bed at this time, wake up at that time. These are the habits that you need to have to be successful. But Bobby had to put in the last part of the equation, and Bobby had to outlast. And Bobby, that's absolutely amazing that you've been able to do that, man. Guys, so write this down. Outthink, outperform, out-strategize, and finally outlast. And I'll pass it to Sean.
Whew, man. What is there to say after that? I don't know. Write down that link, right? So check that link out. After this call, we switch over into a mentorship call, which is private and it's not live, right? So take that link down, put that link up in your browser, register for that call. We're going to go from here to there. We're going to go directly from here to that call, and we'll be able to give you a little bit of insights on your specific points after this call. That's the first thing I'll say. The second thing I'll say is what I just put in the chat, and that's business is going to make you feel like you're going to die sometimes. Business is like an EKG machine. It's consistent up and downs, right? I don't care where you are, who you are, or what you go through. COVID was a fluctuation point. The economic recession is a fluctuation point. Certain presidents come in office and give us a tax recession point, right? When you're making money, you're feeling great, and then it's like, boom, hit. Technology, boom, hit. GPT, boom, hit. There's always going to be those hits and those blind spot gaps that the competition or the opponent catches. They see it, and you get hit. You're going to get hit. Never think that you're going to come in business and it's going to be sweet. People lie all the time. Numbers don't. Men and women lie. They'll say anything to get you in their program. But I'm going to tell you the truth. It's not going to be easy. You're going to get hit. Like Bobby said with the endurance piece, you have to gain what I just gave before. You got to have the dream, yes. But if you walk in here in a dream state, you're going to get knocked out. So you can't remain in a dream state. And the right coach is going to wake you up to this real situation. That's why I say evidence-based, and that's why I'm still in college. And it's not a game. None of it is a game. You need multiple core competencies, not just branding, not just speaking, not just coaching. You need multiple core competencies. And if you don't have them, then you'll be real sweet in this spot. And the gap that you don't have, the competency that you don't have will knock you out in business. You can have the branding, you can have the speaking. If you don't have financial knowledge and financial understand what to do with the numbers, it's over for you. It's over for you. If you don't understand coaching, which is the leadership language, coaching is a language of leadership. You will not be able to lead an organization without coaching, a coaching style of leadership to elicit the best performance out of your team. The dominating style of leadership, the dictatorial style of leadership, and at the same time, it's not a democracy. So there's a real unique balance there where you can't be dictatorial, but you can't allow people to just write their own ticket either. You have to be firm but fair. You have to know how to speak to people. You have to master the art of communication. You also have to understand psychology and what people are going through and how people are feeling. So you need to have an empathetic bent and an empathetic intuition to feel what your people are going through. And then you have to have compassion and truly care. It can't just be a word or a hashtag. You know, people hashtag compassion. You can't hashtag compassion. You either have it or you don't. Now, all of these things are learned skills, but if you're in the wrong community, you're going to be off balance. You're going to learn to be real sweet in one spot and get knocked out in another. You got to learn how to be ambidextrous and use both hands. And you got to be right and left brained. So you got to be massively creative on the right side of the brain, but then you also have to be logical and analytical on the left side of the brain. Because if you're real good on the creative side, then you're going to make a lot of money. But if you're not logical, you're going to lose it all. If you're not analytical, you're not going to know what's coming next. And if you're all analytics, then you're not going to be very creative. There's a lot about strategy and tactics that you have to understand. And that's what the right community does for you and the right coaching does for you. And again, that call is where we're going to go in 2 seconds. Guys, we've been talking about leadership the whole time. The crawling up the rocks, the beautiful restaurant, after going through the hard travel that felt like hell is what Bobby's talking about right now, the valley of the shadow of death. You don't have to fear evil if you have the right community and the right situation in back of you. And that's what we strive to provide at all times. My name is Sean Rais. I'm here with Junior Frederick and Bobby Jackson, and this has been your Breakfast with the Brand. We'll be here same time, same place next week. Let's grow.
I said Sean Rais. I'm proud. I said Sean Rais.
Leadership is not the brand they made for us.
Listen, he brought fire, heat. He didn't hold back.
20 years down the line, what I could sell, why not serve first? Service over salary.
Branding like a leader closes the gap for people who want branding. Speaking like a leader closes the gap for people who are nervous about speaking.
If Steve Jobs would have speculated, we wouldn't have Apple.
He changed lives. He helped people open up their business and start their business.
We are the brand.
Some people say, Sean, should I quit my job? Mentally, yes.
As a speaker, too, to be able to learn from him and watch him and you know, game respects game. And I want to have that much game someday.
The right client, pay $500,000 for what you do. You have to be bold in your beliefs.
He has been an amazing asset to this event and a pleasure to work with. Very captivating, collaborative, worked very well with the audience.
I want to help you. Put a 0 behind your number, right?
The session was great. How he is online, virtually, he is even more phenomenal in person.
Be the face of change that you want to see. Stop asking questions and start giving demands.
The entire team has just been absolutely incredible. They are a joy to work with. They go above and beyond.
Give yourself a round of applause. Yes, yes, yes.